Hello，大家好，欢迎大家回来。福尔摩斯第一章，我们上次来到
Who the
南。
hell are you? How did you get in here?
Mr. Ronald Harlow let me in, sir. I'm Sherlock Holmes, a surveyor of refugee affairs with City Hall. You're Inspector Tewkesbury, I presume?
A surveyor? What does that even mean?
In short, I've been sent to conduct an extensive report on the incident for the Colonial Office and to assess all the damage inflicted on state property.
Got it. Another paperworm sent to count money and get food for archive mold. Go on, look around, but don't make yourself too at home. As if I didn't have enough problems before you appeared.
Could you first tell me what happened here?
What happened? People from the bridge above the camp heard a woman screaming and saw a mass of refugees attacking a man. Clearly not a refugee. When the camp guards came by, the man was floating in the sewage canal with a knife in his chest. A murder. Big news for Cordona.
I'm sure. Thank you, Inspector. And none of the refugees were harmed?
One fellow was cut. He's lying over there near their kitchen. He's in a bad way.
You mentioned a woman screaming who attracted the bypassers on the bridge. Was she harmed?
No, she's all right, but perhaps the whole debacle started because of her. She started wailing and the refugees stood up for the girl.
And where is this young woman now?
Back there in the shacks, same as the rest of the refugees. She's been questioned by my men, but she's just some refugee girl. Can't understand much English.
Did you learn anything about the dead man?
The fellow looks like a thug. I've had dozens like him fished out of the sea over the past 20 years. Ever since these refugees arrived, there have been people on Cordona with bad blood in them. My best bet is that this thug had something against them too.
And no clue as to his identity.
He had some items on his body, but nothing to indicate who he was or where he was from.
I think I should catalogue his possessions in my records.
Go on. They're on the table near the body.
Do you have any suspects yet?
You're joking, right? I've got a whole camp full of suspects. And if you ask me, this bloke had it coming. Better bury him and forget about the whole thing. And now there's a crowd gathered at the camp, and my superiors say we must thoroughly interrogate the refugees. At least those who can understand any English.
Do you believe that your superiors wish to get rid of the refugees?
I think that both our superiors would rather keep the story quiet. Since that's an unaffordable luxury now, they're looking how to protect their public image. That's why I have to waste my time waiting for my people to turn every stone and befriend every refugee.
Here we go again. Number of hours on Cordona before stumbling upon another dead body. 0.
原来是9哎，
Clearly a left handprint here.
9，然后4哦，
Clearly a left handprint here.
那4是什么？
A furrow in the ground. A blood trail leading to or from the canal.
所以现在2个、3个。
Someone bled profusely here. A fresh crack, as if the crate was hit recently.
然后3个嘛，我现在是4。
These events have fractured into so many pieces. But I know you can collect them all, Sherlock.
4。这个看起
A
来，
man's footprint.
对啊，不是什么普通靴，它看起来就是个脚印呢。
A heavy boot with a worn-out sole. Police boots. Always happy to trample evidence.
哦，这有2，所以是5了。
£1,000. A fair sum, especially considering British currency isn't very common in Cordona. A simple leather sheath. Perfect for a dirk. Malpal. soaked with salt water.
它翻译不一样哎，马律博。现在是5，然后6。
Coal dust under the nails. I don't see much coal around here. A steel dirk, sharp. A common accessory among sailors and soldiers. I'd say the blade penetrated upward, however, the wound is too messy to be certain. An interesting tattoo. Does it mean something? Heavy boots, with one sole far more worn than the other. This man was limping, John. A violent death. This man, limping. Coal dust. I think we're onto something here, John.
If they find out about the passage, everything will go to hell. If they find out about the passage, everything will go to hell.
Ah, 错了。哦，原来错一个是可以。警方担心尸体的状况会让营地被封锁，因而无法获得计划中可以赚到的钱。哦，他们
Nobody
在
will know anything if you keep your bloody mouth shut.
The coppers smell fishy here, Sherry. Perhaps, Sherry, just look at this. Living quarters in a sewer. What kind of a genius bureaucrat came up with this idea?
呀，你刚刚在外面讲什么？好吧。哎，有了，回来了。
Such a mess.
哦，好吧，
Let's
不一样。
figure it out.
然后我现在还差3个。三个。哦，有了，这里3个了，看到了。
Oh, carnelian agate beads, a traditional African adornment.
2个。
The blood sprayed off the blade after the strike. No hint of blood or impact. It might have been used as an improvised weapon.
啊，最后一个也。
Someone was dragged against their will. The cut is deep, potentially serious if not treated immediately. He is in shock, feverish and dehydrated.
Sherry, you know first aid. Surely you have a duty to help this man. You can't leave him to certain death.
You know what? I'd like to understand.
What?
How did our dead man end up inside the camp in the first place?
These events have fractured into so many pieces. But I know you can collect them all. Sherlock.
Just washed. Better than nothing to bandage the wound. I'll use it to create a solution. I can use this to stop the infection from spreading. I've collated all the ingredients now to prepare the first aid solution.
假的，真有用吗？表示怀疑啊。负4跟负6。这两个都要负的话，这样吗？然后负4跟负6，那我可以给你2个加就好了吧？看一下啊，负4跟负6，先来一个这个，然后再来一个这个，1、2、3，然后就这样，这有点丑哈。啊，不是加啦，是减啦。删除，减。那这个可以先加再负就好了。哎，太棒了！
Thank you.
最好啦
Feel better, my friend. Now remain lying down and drink as much water as you can.
Well done, Sherry. At least he won't die from the infection.
最好他可以立刻讲话了。好，然后哎，这有个东西啊。
It's unlikely anyone could get in or out of the camp by water without alerting the police guards.
我刚是因为突然有震动，我才想说看一下到底是什么在震动。
No, it's too short for these walls or cliffs. Sealed shut. I doubt our man could get through these grates.
哦，还有鸡耶！
A single Malpal butt. Roadman's cigarettes. A brand highly regarded by law enforcement officers. So there wasn't any sophisticated infiltration plan. The good old police just let the man into the camp. Now we have everything we need to get the full picture of what happened at the camp.
我没想到今天这一集就可以解决这个了，还蛮快的哎！我明明记得蛮长的这个。哦，好远哦！好了，来吧，看一下7拖行嘛。已经是拖行了，不是说有那个。哦，然后 啊，那个珠链。嗯哼，应该是这样嘛。该吧。
So, we have a thug who came to take a refugee woman with him. She resisted, but he dragged her by force. One of the refugees stood in his way, armed with a stick, yet he could do nothing against a cutthroat with a blade. The man didn't anticipate that the other refugees would intervene and stand against him. In the confusion, the woman managed to break free. The thug took fright and fled. He was stopped by the falling crates. He stumbled and fell, piercing his chest with his own blade. However, the wound didn't cause instant death. He managed to stand, but still bleeding, he lost his balance on the bridge and fell. Before all of this, the man had freely entered the camp through the main entrance. The police admitted him after they had a short smoke together.
You live by the sword, you die by the sword. In our man's case, it's the same sword.
Mr. Harlow, your refugees didn't murder anyone.
What? Pray tell me what you've learned.
All right, listen carefully. This might solve one problem for you, but will create a few more.
Oh, well, that's a great start.
The man came to the camp intending to kidnap one of your refugees, a woman. What he didn't expect was that the refugees would stand up to protect the woman. A brawl had broken out. In the chaos of it, the man stumbled over those crates and fell on his own blade.
How do you know he fell on his own blade?
The wound in his chest was inflicted from an unusual angle. It was not an offensive stab, shall we say. The refugees didn't touch him. And judging by the blood at the scene, the intruder managed to raise himself but was unable to walk very far. He ultimately fell into the canal.
But how did he sneak into the camp? Why didn't the police see him?
And this is where your new problems emerge, Mr. Harlow.
What do you mean?
You're not a dull-witted man. You know what I mean. There is no feasible way to get into the camp without the police guards knowing of it.
The pile of mess I had to sort out has just become bigger, but somehow that doesn't surprise me. Anyway, I thank you for your help, Mr. Holmes. I'll take it from here. Meanwhile, I'll make sure the police aren't detaining the refugees any longer. You can go back in and look for your witness.
You think one small clock can make any difference in this place?
Who knows, John? Just one ill-fitting cog could make the whole machine crumble.
You still here?
还可以提供证据啊。
Your problem, not mine. Your problem, not mine. Go and bother someone else with this, son. Go and bother someone else with this, son. Go and bother someone else with this, son. Go and bother someone else
他
with
全部都
this,
不行
son.
哎。
The guards at the sewers were speaking about taking refugees out of the camp. Do you know anything about this, Inspector?
Less than you do, obviously.
And this doesn't bother you as an officer of the law?
I can neither punish them nor put them on the right track, if that's what you're asking. Maybe your friends at City Hall could do something about it, but I seriously doubt that. To be honest, I'm sick and tired of being frowned on for my uniform. If those fine gentlemen you've eavesdropped on are in some shady business, that's on their heads. You're disturbing a hornet's nest here, son.
I owe you a lot, Mr. Holmes.
哦，就这样啊。啊，原来呀、啊。
Can you satisfy my curiosity?
They often take us from the camp to work. Most don't mind, though. It's the only way to get a glimpse of freedom.
据难民所说，一些可疑的人会定期访问难民营，带走一部分的难民，让他们去做各种工作，通常都是一些很辛苦的工作，但难民可以得到食物和报酬。据推测，一名女孩在被带去做这些工作之后遭了虐待，从那时起，难民们便决定不再让妇女被带去工作，
So there's
也
a
正常
smuggling
吧。
ring in the camp. This wasn't the first time that someone freely entered the camp to take a refugee out.
At least it was certainly his last time. My gut tells me that we'll learn more about this ring when we find out where the thug came from.
我觉得正常吧，不要让他们女生出去，不然很那个。
You're the one who tended to our man's wounds. I thank you greatly. The police didn't allow us to help him.
The police will leave you alone now. I've proven to them that the man who came into the camp died due to his own foolishness.
Thank you for standing up for us. But nobody would help us without a reason. You're here because you want something.
Yes, I do. I need to speak with the girl drawn here.
The dead man came for her too. He wanted to take the girl away, but we won't allow her to be hurt again. What do you want from Nayla?
Nayla. She was hurt some time ago. I'm here to find the people who did this and bring them to justice. And to find them, I need Nayla's help. Will you let me speak to her?
Justice. There's no justice on this land. But you helped us, so maybe your words are not empty. You can speak to Nayla, if she wants it. But I will be watching you.
Hello, Nayla? My name is Sherlock. I know someone hurt you. I am here to help. I'm trying to find the people involved and bring them to justice. Please. There is a photograph, and I'm sorry, it is terrible, but I simply must ask. Where did this happen? What can you tell me about these people? Christ, Sherlock. Nayla, I'm sorry. I'm not very good at this.
You come here for me, but you are rude and cruel and condescending. A cross. The man had this cross. Now go away. Leave us be. I do not need another white man's help.
Oh, glad that wasn't me.
Not my best work, John. By a long shot. Nayla doesn't want us meddling. I'm starting to wonder what this all achieves.
But she helped you anyway. Now we know that maniac's face and the cross he wore, we can still catch him.
好的，哇，怎么动动那么多？哎，啊，对呀、然后呢？
Someone was dragged against their will.
At least some of your kind have a heart. Thank you again.
Excuse me, just one question.
Sorry. We don't see much here.
I owe you a lot, Mr. Holmes.
You still here? I've already told you all I've learned.
The intruder has a most peculiar tattoo on his neck, 2 lines and a point. Do you know anything about it?
You really want to know, kid? Why? You want to play a policeman or something?
I'm sure you have it in your records, so it won't hurt if I have it in mine.
In my records, it's just a tattoo, as it should be in yours. Ah, to hell with you. Suit yourself as to what you're going to do with it. Off the record, though, such tattoos are often connected to a man named Mr. Niccolo Bernadotti.
Bernadotti, you say?
A respectable businessman in Scaladio. His company imports goods and wines, and smuggles everything that can be smuggled between the colonies and the mainland. His people can be identified by an obscure tattoo, just like the one over there our friend has. But these are all merely rumors, you see. If Mr. Bernadotti was a criminal, he'd be in prison now. Or hanged, right?
Aha. 哦，这要去查是不是啊？啊，这里收集完了，那现在要去警局那边查。哟，今天差不多咯，我们先到这边结束好了。刚玩的太入迷了，谢谢大家收看，我们下次再见啊，拜拜。